Well, friends, we're live here with the intro hour where I've got myself a notion, one I know that you will understand. Just want to say I have a short story, an anecdote to relate from my cruise that I didn't bring up, but I just thought about it today, so it was very funny to me. I mean, it probably shouldn't be funny, but it was funny to me. So, you may know that I started getting seasick about 6 to 7 months ago. It sucks. It sucks to get seasick. So I'm taking, while I'm on cruises, taking Dramamine and the behind the ear patches. So it makes you kind of tired. It affects your balance a little bit. I mean, ships are already rocking and a rolling. But as I'm sure it would surprise no one that's ever been in a modern American grocery store or Costco, a lot of people walk with their whole families in a line, but that line is flankwise rather than fucking straight as an arrow. On a cruise ship where the cruise ships are only designed to be about 3 to 4 people wide. So if you want to give comfortable space to everybody, it's pretty much one row one way, one row the other way. So when people walk in a line that's not a row, it's stupid. I'm sorry, I mean column. When they walk in a line that's not a column, it's really stupid. When they walk in a row, it's a problem. But a lot of people on this cruise decided that they were going to walk couple wise, like man, woman, holding hands together. Most of the people doing that kind of got an idea pretty early that they were just going to be bumping shoulders, especially with other couples. Like 5 days into the cruise, I knew the layout of the ship because I'd been on the Norwegian Gem back when I still had a Nintendo DS. That's how long ago. The Gem was the ship, and that might have been back in like 2017. The Gem was the ship where a little kid challenged me to a Pokemon battle using Street Pass or some shit. He used like the online network to challenge me to a battle, and I whooped his ass disastrously. Um, so I knew the layout of the ship, and by day 5, almost everybody, but not everybody, there was still at least one person who I had to tell where the main dining room was. And you think it's crazy to not know where the main source of food is on a ship on day 5, but some people had somehow dodged not only the ability to read a map, but to physically appear there in person. So just to give you a layout, like there are still people who are completely clueless on these cruise ships on day 5. But anyway, I'm on the outside of the ship, walking along the promenade deck, and I see a couple coming towards me. Now, I'm a big guy. I'm a bigger guy than most big guys as well. And I generally try to be polite and stay away from people, right? Just in general, but also on cruise ships. This guy his wife is up against the outer rail. I'm against the inner rail on the side of the ship. I'm pushing myself as far over to give him space. Now, I guess this guy thought he could shoulder check me. I guess he looked at me and thought I was a guy he could take. Now, just to be clear, I am forcibly wedging myself to allow this guy to go past me up against the ship. So when he shoulder checked me, I was solidly emplaced. And he hit the deck, and I started laughing at him because it's so funny. I saw the shit coming from a mile away. I knew he would try something like this. Just the way he looked at me and moved to like take up more space in the middle. It was so stupid. I don't know why he did it. I knew he was going to get obliterated. I knew it would happen. I didn't have to do anything here. Let me be clear. I didn't go out of my way to like assault this guy. I didn't attack this guy. I simply stopped walking and allowed him to pass. And he still went out of his way to shoulder check me. And he hit me hard enough that he bounced off and hit the ground. And I laughed at him in front of his wife. And I'm not going to apologize for that because I could see it happening 10, 15 seconds out. I knew that was how the story was going to end. And yet, this oblivious moron still walked toward his own self-destruction. I never saw him again for the rest of the cruise, although that's not that difficult. The gem is our sorry, well, this wasn't the gem, it was the jewel. They're not the biggest ships in the world, but they do have 2,000 people on board, and the ship was completely full. So you can live in a hotel with 2,300 people on board and never see the same person twice. Just some people I don't like. It was watching someone in slow motion moving towards their own destruction. They had every opportunity to literally get out of my and their own way. And I could tell that they were going to make it an issue just based on body language. Just so stupid. So stupid. Hey, let me say something else, by the way. I lived in West Virginia through my last year in middle school, through both attempts at college, with 1 year in New Jersey for the first year of high school. So I want to say this. I've seen a lot of sporting events. I've seen a lot of rednecks. I've seen a lot of what some people might call ghetto trash, white trash behavior. If you are hosting people for a sporting event on your front lawn and they're getting in fights drunkenly and the cops have to show up, you're the problem. They're the problem as well, but also you're the problem for making it everybody's problem. So, if you see sporting events where white trash people, just trashy drunks, rednecks in general, are getting into fights on the front lawn, even if it's the people's front lawn or a public front lawn, someone fucked up real bad. So that's what I'll leave there. Pokemon Nuzlocke is back on. I know people were thinking maybe it wasn't back on. It's back on. It just takes a while to record them, People were shit talking Gyarados, but my Gyarados is back and he's absolutely lawnmowering everybody. Chainsaw, Limp Biscuit chainsawing people left and right. Gyarados saw blading his way through people, really. And yeah, so we got enough. We got it filmed through Wednesday. Gives me a little bit of space here to maybe get a couple more recordings over the next few days and then get back to working on the charity event, which is going to be on this Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Get ready for Make-A-Wish Cozy Up for Wishes. So I will be releasing the website. I think tomorrow night is when they're going to let me do it. And then you shouldn't donate yet. You should wait until Friday afternoon to donate if you want to get the game package. So you can't get the game package early. If you want to get all of the cozy games or whatever, or buy the cozy bucket hats, you have to wait until Friday at noon when they're going to let us do that. Although which noon isn't clear to me yet, since it's an international organization. But sometime on Friday would be a good time to get in there. If you don't care about the games, you can start donating immediately to pre-purchase, let's call them rewards or punishments for our players. So as a recap, we'll be doing Friday night from 8:30 to 10 p.m. Eastern. We'll be doing a Shadowrun 4E actual play scenario. We'll be using a loose version of the Shadowrun rules. I will be game mastering. Spoon will be taking my place at the play table. And if you donate, you can improve the lives of the Shadowrunners by offering them boons like bonuses to rolls and re-rolls, that sort of deal. Saturday night will be King Arthur Pendragon, where our three players will be reviving their three somewhat dead characters in the lands of fairy on the reverse side of the world in order to solve a magical mystery investigation and maybe deliverance some brew. In the process, payments made will hurt the players. You can give them negatives and force them to re-roll so that maybe they will fail. And then finally, we will have Goshbound from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern on Sunday. There will not be any donation goals for that. It's a home game, and it does not really doesn't lend itself well, the system, to interference by audience members. But you can come and watch and donate and enjoy. and we're looking to hit 300 United States dollars for what that's worth. Although what 300 United States dollars is worth is at like 4.2% inflation, so not as much as it used to. I'd say about 4.2% more than it did last month. Really. I think that covers most of my announcements here. Just want to check in and triple down on Pow World on July 13th. I think is the first Monday after Pow World comes out. We'll be doing night one of the roleplay server. Pondo has convinced some of us to join him in a guild scenario where we'll all share bases and PAL sets, and I think maybe secretly, I think this is Pondo's plan to not let me make bases so that there's one less ugly ass base out in the world. Well, it's me, so there are probably 3 or 4 ugly ass bases in the world, and only let people who have good looking bases make bases, and then I will just chaotically go out and well, I'll play the game chaotically, but I won't damage the world with my aesthetic, which, let's be clear, is functional, boxy, and Spartan. Highly functional, I'd say.
I have seen your spaceships and would agree with that assessment.
Yeah, they're highly functional. They occupy the smallest possible volume of space with the most usefulness and firepower when I designed them myself. Yeah. Aesthetics do not help you go faster or shoot more bullets normally. What do you want? I mean, what do you want from me? You want me to make a good looking base? You want me to have flowers on the outside? Do flowers make my vampire stronger? No, then why would I need them?
I commented I did not pass judgment.
Yeah, that's fine. I'm passing judgment. My judgment is Spartan. Bleak. Brutalist. Soviet brutalism is the way that I design things. All right, so we've got here Eternal, Lawson, and I think I saw Chris sneaking in way earlier. So let's figure out how everybody's doing. How has your week been, the intro hour people? I'm Lawson and I'm here. Great. Eternal, how are you doing?
Uh, he unmuted. I'm doing pretty good.
He doesn't need to. We know what he's going to say.
Wow. Lawson, any comments?
I'm Lawson and I'm here.
I am surviving.
Great.
I'm doing pretty well. Was a decent enough week. Picked up Tainted Grail, Fall of Avalon, the Skyrim-like game. Investments turned out well. I'm doing pretty good overall.
Okay.
And it's been a minute since I've been able to jump on one of these.
Sure.
I may have to dip in and out depending on what work's doing, but I've just returned from pretty much six straight weeks of military courses with no effective off days, and there were promotional courses and advanced system courses. So I was wrecked. By the time you're back, and everybody's just like, "Oh, do you enjoy your break?" And I'm like, "Not a break. Everybody at work today." And I'm like, "No, not a break. I work way harder there than I do here." Just so we're clear. So
Very
anyway,
well. Hey, good to see you back,
good to be
buddy.
back in your own bed and with all the normal sounds in your house, and to eat the food you want to eat, not just whatever wet meat slop has been placed in the tray.
Wow. Crazy. Wet meat slop. What a description of military food.
Prove me wrong. Don't show me the error
I
of the
won't.
statement.
I'm not. I would never. Hey, man, I heard that there is a specific term that they call people who open the MRE rations early and they just take the chili mac. Sorry, what is it?
Well, sorry. In Australia, we'd call it a lid lifter.
Lid lifter?
Someone who lifts the because sometimes you'll get meals brought out to the field, so fresh rats, and the person who goes and lifts the lid to see what it is and go, nah, I don't want that, and pack it up and close it up, even though it says on the top like chicken or beef or whatever, and we call them lid lifters.
Okay.
And, they are looked upon with scorn, and I imagine that is the same for somebody who decides to choose the ration pack rather than just like, hey,
Sure.
there's two different kinds, so you're going to get one of each.
Yeah, it's got to be rough for Marines who only like to eat the pink ones. The crayons, of course, is what I'm referring to.
The crayons as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't be a lid lifter. Don't be Jack, and don't be a lid lifter.
Crazy. Well, anyone had anything that happened to them over the last week that they'd like to discuss? Maybe run an intro, perhaps?
The end of the school year in Virginia Beach. So
Nice.
there's that.
I spent most of my travels home playing catch up on your fine content, sir. And I didn't notice in the intro hour, I think it was 2 ago, before you went away, and you were talking about like wanting to do an Andor thing, and I was just like, oh, like I remember that. I remember some discussions where we tried this, but we didn't want to talk it because we watched it immediately, and we're like,
I mean, yeah,
spoil it immediately.
yeah, and the thing is, Gut was like, I think that was part of the discussion where Gut Feldon was like, "Yeah, you should run whatever shows you want," and I'm like, "I absolutely can't do that. No, there's zero chance that I can do that."
It also seemed like a discussion that we had around Twilight 2000. I was like,
yeah,
how hard do you want me to go into this?
James wants me to finish the Twilight 2000 for very good reasons, but it was such a strange experience for me. I definitely was on the receiving end of a psyop. I don't know whether it was French or Chinese or just an internet troll, but I started getting weird emails after the series had come out, so I stopped releasing it. And now I don't know how straightforward to be about this. The episode that I'm hung up on is the episode where we directly address so I try to run the game kind of Metal Gear Solid style, right? And I decided to directly address an event that happened in real life in the game, which was called the Rainbow Warrior Incident, which is where French military intelligence bombed a ship in New Zealand territory in the 1980s or 90s. This is a real event it was a real military attack on an ally by a first world major country against another first world. I don't know, I call New Zealand a major country, but they're certainly not like a third world or second world country. So I mean, they're not out here maintaining a massive multi-nation navy or multi-continental navy. But yeah, New Zealand obviously was pretty upset about the French military bombing them. And probably the bigger issue was that the French intelligence agents got caught doing it. And listen, I'm an American. We definitely have pulled shit like this all the time. The bigger problem is getting caught. Don't get caught if you're going to do this. So anyway, they fucked up and they got caught. I started running with that scenario in our Twilight 2000 game, but I didn't look up to see if all of the people involved were still alive. I assumed they had died. And in fact, not only are they still alive, almost all of them escaped from prison and are alive in France, having not served a prison sentence for terrorism in New Zealand. They have all skipped jail. In one case, the main guy, like the main villain of the entire story, the guy who did it, literally just straight up said, I need to go back to France for a medical procedure. I swearsies I'll come back. New Zealand was like, okay, that's fine. And he just didn't come back. And that's the end of the story. He literally disappears from fucking history. Why you would let a trained terrorist military intelligence operative working for the French Navy for realsies go home and just super promise he'll come back and serve out the rest of a 20-year/life sentence for terrorism. It just seems like a bad plan. So anyway, I made the call to it was the Eric Vulgaris episode where he showed up, right? Because that's the one he guested on. And I am so caught on how much editing I want to do to remove the names of the real people. And then I changed them to some other absurd French mock translations. But the problem is I originally went in 100% using the real names. And these people are still alive and could kill me for real. Yes, they are decrepit, like 60 and 70-year-old French intelligence agencies. But for realsy, it wouldn't take much to eliminate me. And they're clearly good enough to escape a New Zealand jail, so I'm sure they have no qualms about eliminating a frail guy who lives in his own basement.
Who constantly goes to international waters.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I would be super easy to kill because I'm constantly in international waters like twice a year. Wow. Horrifying. You've actually made this worse, Eternal. Someone actually died on our cruise, by the way. That happens a lot. Old people go on a cruise and then they'll just fall and die. You can usually tell because they'll call for a stretcher team. And that's usually a great indicator that somebody's either grievously injured themselves or is straight up dead. But I'm pretty sure when we docked, I saw a mortuary team. So yeah, someone died on the cruise. Just happens.
Yeah, no, it's like the same thing. I lived in Idaho at a ski resort town. You pretty much expect to at least once or twice a year that, well, you're going to see like a dozen times a year there's going to be an ambulance. Once or twice a year, you're probably going to expect someone there. Just happens in high danger places.
Also, people drunkenly do dumb shit on a cruise. My mom was sure that this guy was having a stroke, but I thought he was just really drunk. There's a dude who, from what I determined later, he was the grandfather of these kids. He was pointing out into the ocean, speaking absolute gibberish. I thought maybe he wasn't speaking English, but his kids all spoke. Well, the grandkids spoke perfect English. I tried talking to him to figure out what the hell he was doing, and it became clear he was speaking English. He was just incoherently slurring words together. And I was just like, yeah, okay, well, let's get you away from the outside of the ship. You're pointing and you're leaning over the rail and you seem like you're having a hard time. And my mom's like, he's having a stroke. Find him medical attention. I'm like, he's not having a stroke. He's just a little drunk. But he was very drunk. He was probably the most drunk. I lived in WVU at Morgantown campus. I've seen some shit. This is the most drunk I've ever seen someone ambulatory. And then his son came along and was like, Dad, you can't be acting like this around the kids. And I was like, yep, I'm 100% certain this guy's not having a stroke. He's definitely drunk, and this isn't the first time. Wild. Absolutely wild. Did you meet people like that? Chad is saying don't take any trips to France. Don't worry, I don't intend to. My mom wants me to go on a trip in 2028 that's like fucking 20 days long. That's like Iceland, Ireland, England, and ends at France. And I'm just like, listen, lady, you're my mom and I love you, and you go on all sorts of crazy trips. 20 days? Also, us together for 20 days? I don't think so. Nah, forget about that noise. Forget about that noise.
Yeah,
I'm not built for a 20-day cruise vacation is all I'm saying. Oh, boy. Well, I've started my way through the Pit Season 2. I keep starting stopping it. I want to like it so much. I want to like it. It just doesn't feel as good as the Pit Season 1, and I don't know why it keeps throwing me. But if I had to choose between watching the Pit Season 2 and Lord of the Rings, I would choose Lord of the Rings, and I have been choosing Lord of the Rings, and that's rough. It's rough. I got in there, I beat Star Miner. Well, I mean, as much Star Miner as you can. The link gate isn't in game yet, and they're working on multiplayer, so I think I'm just going to call it here. I got all 4 of the super mirrors done, and if there's a co-op multiplayer server, I'm 100% with that, because it will be so much chaos. Absolute madness. Even in a game where I have total control over all units moving through space using Newtonian physics, I still come dangerously close to hitting each other, even though I'm in full control and the units are moving super slow. Sometimes I'm shocked. I'm like, I sent that that spaceship 20 kilometers through open fucking space. I dodged 3 asteroids, and I still almost collided with a massive space station that I could see from a mile away. Crazy how close you can get. Yeah, Star Miner is really incredible, but I think I might have ruined myself playing it in the same way that I'm like, everyone loves Manor Lords, but it's clear Manor Lords isn't finished, and a lot of people are like, damn, I can't play Manor Lords anymore because I already played the shit out of it. And that for me is a shame, because I have Manor Lords, and I'm like, I'm gonna wait until it's done, and then I'm gonna play it. I understand people love it. I'm sure it's a great game. I bought it. I want the guy making it to have the money. I'm waiting until it's fully done, because now with Star Miner, I'm like, damn, it would suck to have to do the whole making all 4 super mirrors again. It took like 20 hours. I don't want to do that. But the game it is a lot of fun. Once you get out of the fun part and into the now it's time to get down to business to defeat the Huns part, I'm like, damn, I don't like defeating the Huns. Go back to the part where the show was a musical, all right? Famously, Mulan didn't have another musical number after the Huns at the midpoint, you know, where they come across the village. I got like 5 Mulan facts ready to go at all times, by the way. Of course, we're talking about the original Mulan, not that shitty remake. I couldn't bring myself to watch it, and apparently that was the right choice. I've been told it's horrible.
I think that's been the right choice for all of the live actions.
I thought that the Beauty and the Beast was not the worst. I hate to say it.
That justifies its existence being not the worst.
I mean, they added new musical numbers. I think they removed a number, though. Did they remove Be Our Guests? I remember they removed a musical number, and I was really like, what the fuck? Why would they remove this one? And then they added at least one. And they really made, I want to say his name's Matt Gash. Whoever was playing Gaston, they really made him, like, villainous. They made it like he was the true villain behind everything. And I was like, this is a weird take. I'm kind of for it, but I'm also kind of not. It was complicated. It's not the worst, though, just to be clear. I heard that Lion King live action was all right. And then all the other ones have been terrible. That's all I got. What else? What else? I'm trying this new game Witchspire out. I don't know. It's another one of those. It's so weird. You know, it's like you're a witch who has to save the world sort of deal, but it's really secretly a Power World clone. That's like you're a witch and you have a familiar and you catch more familiars. I am, to be clear, about 15 minutes in, and 10 of that was making my character. But it is interesting for a survival open world crafting builder. Again, I've only got 5 real minutes of playing it, but maybe I'm just using it to sort of prep myself for Power. Yeah, I'm ready for Power World, man. I'm so ready for Power World. I gotta finish Final Fantasy Tactics as well at some point. But the thing is, I bullied my way through the first 3 acts out of 4 of just exploding through the game. I used all of my old and ancient knowledge to know like what I wanted to build, how I wanted to build it. I hit like level 38. I got to Act 4, and the game gets like really involved in taking your party apart. So the difficulty level is already pretty high. Final Fantasy Tactics is already quite a difficult game. Act 4, in order to counteract the difficulty, they hand you a bunch of like super OP people like Beowulf and maybe not Mostardio, but like Count Orlando, the Thunder God. If you don't use him, you're basically like holding one hand behind your back for the rest of the game. but you can only deploy a certain number of people, so you spend most of the game building a perfectly balanced party, and then they start trickle dripping you with even more people. They are people who have classes your characters can't access, so they are just functionally better than your characters. So all of those relationships and special tactics that you've built fall to the wayside as the characters you spent the whole game building get shoved to the side. And I'm just starting that. I'm just starting the Beowulf quest line. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to give away the party that I've spent all this time building. And maybe it's because I was too close, because I bursted through the game. You know, I did like 40 hours over the course of 2 weeks. And now I haven't played it since forever. How long has it been since I opened it? Last opened on March 24th. Playtime 50.1 hours. So yeah. I did that all in the course of like 2 weeks. And yeah, I haven't touched it since March. I gotta get around to finishing it. And then I wanted to run Construction Simulator last week, and then it turns out Construction Simulator says that it's a co-op game, but you have to get fucking like halfway through the game before you can play co-op. So I don't know. That's pretty stupid. That's a stupid fucking call on behalf of the game designers. I would really love to see. I would love an explanation from the person who made that call. I would love to go to them and be like, "Hey, when you marketed this game as cooperative, and then you lock the co-op part behind just playing by yourself for like 10, 15 hours, what was your thought process? Show me the thought process. Show me the decision tree that led to making this monumental failure of a decision. Lay it out for me in terms I can understand, because I'm not a genius that can put this together. Explain it to me." And then I had family drama all Friday. My whole Friday. I remember Friday, I messaged Lawson. I was like, "I'm sorry, Lawson. I'm not going to be able to make it. I have to go to early dinner with my mom. She was on a warpath because her brothers, my uncles, were kind of beefing. And then everything that could go wrong did go wrong. We were going to PF Chang's, and we got there, and my mom likes to look. I mean, I like to do this too. I almost certainly got this behavior from her. Look the menu up ahead of time before you go to a place. And this is PF Chang's. It's a nice, easy, casual restaurant, but you know, it is a franchise. The menu is standardized. It's the same everywhere. You know what I mean? So we look the menu up online. We know what we're going to get when we get there. We're going to get this chef's feast for two and then split it between us, right? I mean, obviously it's called chef's feast for two. We get there. We sit down. My mom tells them what we're going to order. And the guy's like, "Oh, we don't offer that here." Let me tell you, the day was already, pebbles were coming down the side of the mountain. All right. Just getting my mom to the PF Chang's involved at least 2 separate incidents, including one where I took her to go pick up her prescriptions, and they're like, "We don't have a record of that order." And that took like 20 minutes. Did not leave with the prescriptions. I'm sitting here the whole time cringing because I'm like, you can't make the medication appear for you, right? If they don't have a record of the order, it doesn't matter if you think they have a record of the order. They literally can't make medication appear out of thin air. And she's been a nurse for 40 years, so she knows that. But she wants to beef with them. So anyway, we show up late to our reservation time. We get there. My mom orders the exact thing we knew we were going to get. They tell her no. And I'm like, this is it. This is the last pebble that starts an avalanche. Was this moment right here? And yes, things got worse from there. And then I'm like, great, I need to text message the next group I have Friday night and let them know I'm probably not going to make the WWE thing because we're locked in now. We're locked in, baby. The avalanche has started. They moved it to you can only order the chef's feast for pickup at this specific restaurant. And my mom went full, "I'd like to speak to your manager." It was that kind of day. And it all started because my uncle drilled a screw into an active electrical wire and then tried to get 2 different electrical engineers, neither of which are licensed to do wiring in the state of Pennsylvania, to come help him. One of those electrical engineers was me, and my statement was, you should call your brother who is licensed to work in Pennsylvania. And he says, well, he retired, so he's not licensed. And I was like, so you thought someone who's never been licensed to do wiring in Pennsylvania, would do it for you? And he's like, well, I'm your uncle. And I'm like, no, absolutely under no circumstances am I gonna risk my FE or my EIT for you. You live 6 hours in the middle of nowhere. Don't drill screws into active electrical wires. Call a contractor. He was not happy with that. Yeah, so just for folks at home, don't drill screws into an active electrical wire. Just for funsies. That's my suggestion. That's my life wisdom to you, by the way. Don't drill screws into active electrical wires. Just don't. Also, if you don't own the place, you probably shouldn't, if you're renting, definitely don't be drilling screws in the first place. Right? Like I don't know the rental laws of Pennsylvania, but I do know the ones in New Jersey, and you definitely shouldn't be drilling screws. Great. Anything anybody wants to talk about, get off their chest? Any media you've watched recently that we should be going into? I've been getting a lot of Kyle Busch stuff on YouTube Shorts. And then Spoon had to tell me that he died in real life recently. So I don't know why I started getting him out of nowhere, because I'm not like a big NASCAR fan. But I was watching it and I was like, this guy's so annoying. I think I said to Spoon, I said, why hasn't someone killed him in real life? Spoon went, he died recently in real life of double pneumonia. And I was like, great. That's really terrible. But also, I understand why, because he's so annoying. He's fucking full-on Dale Earnhardt, super aggressive shitlord, bumping into people on the finish line, throwing them into a dangerous slide, and then ghosting past them. Look, when I was a kid, there were 2 names I knew, Jeff Gordon and Dale Earnhardt Jr., all right? Those were the guys. Dale Earnhardt Jr. was, I guess, the good guy, and Jeff Gordon was the devil. Maybe, I don't know. That's just how it was when I was in.
Look at it.
Hey, listen, again, I don't watch NASCAR. That's just how people treated it when I was in high school in West Virginia. All right. I don't know. Listen, I understand now that Dale Earnhardt was literally one of the dirtiest, bumpiest, aggressive racers of all time. I guess maybe Junior isn't quite like that. Maybe? Question mark?
He wasn't. No, he was not nearly the aggressive driver his father was.
Okay. Because I don't know this shit, man. I'm not a shitlord, and I don't watch NASCAR. But man, people take that shit seriously. We opened talking about redneck brawling and trash behavior, ghetto behavior, but boy, we got a NASCAR motor speedway near Delaware, and boy, that shit gets fucked up sometimes when people do dumb shit.
Dover.
Yeah, Dover Motor Raceway or whatever it's called.
One of the best tracks.
Yeah, you think it's the best track? Well, guess what? People drive like they're on NASCAR getting there, which is a problem when fucking 50 motorcycles riding down the road and then cars going 90 miles an hour, everyone from out of state acting like a jackass. And let's be clear, people in state acting like jackasses. I know that it's popular in Delaware to say that New Jerseyans are the worst drivers, but Delaware, it isn't much better. And let me tell you, in West Virginia, I used to encounter people going 80 miles an hour up the side of a mountain at like 15 plus degree angles, passing people in the right lane. Again, going uphill 80 miles an hour with trucks involved. Just absolute insane behavior. Crazy behavior. I don't know, man. So I heard Among Us is now an animated series. Does anyone know anything about this?
First time I've heard.
No.
All right. Great. So no one has any. We've also got a new Fire Emblem, Fortune's Weave. It looks like maybe it's a sequel to Three Houses, which is great because Three Houses was pretty good. I've been pecking around doing another Fire Emblem Fates Revelations run. We got the Pokemon Nuzlocke, which has got a lot of commentary from people. Gyarados haters mostly. People who hate Gyarados. Why? Why would you hate Gyarados though? Lawson, you're playing Hitman right now?
Yes.
I
don't know. Were you just killing people?
Trying to.
Okay. Because I follow this dude who does a series called How to Get Away with a Fully Legal Kill in Hitman 3, where he tries
Oh, I've seen a
to...
few of those, yeah.
Sorry?
I've seen some of those, yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty good. Although the comment section usually roasts him for missing something like, really obvious. Like, you have to threaten the dealer in order to commit this, which is assault in France. Man.
Semantics.
Sorry, semantics? You think that the legal definitions of things is semantics? Because that's kind of how we define things, period, end of story. All right. Well, I think it's time, friends. I did say a few days ago that I did have an announcement about my new unretirement. It's a spiritual objective for me. I know we've been seeing a lot of things that make us question our beliefs and our faiths recently, and it can be difficult to move through the world with the level of disinformation and the weaponization of our beliefs. And I'm specifically seeing a new realm of spiritual warfare has opened up, which is why when I receive the call, I've decided I'm fully becoming a prayer warrior. I am fully committed, standing with the Pope in the 10th Crusade against artificial intelligence. I believe that he is one of the aspects of the Omnissiah. We must oppose the Silica Animus. All of us now have a duty as human beings to oppose artificial intelligence at the call of the highest spiritual and moral authority in the world, is all I'm saying. Any thoughts on that? If the Pope says it's okay, I feel justified opposing it as well. On a spiritual, moral, and possibly physical level. Although, don't let Philadelphia cops know about that. Don't tell them I'm opposing artificial intelligence.
In Minecraft.
No, I'm opposing artificial intelligence in real life for realsies. Look, man, I go back and forth. I did some of those AI voices with 11 Labs. They seem pretty legit. Sometimes I type into Google. I'm like, hey, Google, I need help with a campaign. I have an issue. I don't know how to get around this storyline thing. And sometimes I don't know whether it's Gemini. Is that the automat? No, Gemini's got to be. That's Microsoft, right? Sometimes when you type something into Google, an AI thing shows up, and sometimes I'm like, huh, that actually was a pretty good way to get me out of this fucking problem I'm in. Just overall, though, it feels weird to use. I know it's gotten really popular to use, but it's also just kind of bad at story writing and tabletop RPG stuff. It's not good at running things. I always see these ads for apps that are like, hey, we can do are fully artificial intelligence. There's something on Steam Next Fest right now that's doing that. I think it's called like Voice of Command. It's a Chinese game where you're like moving armies around, but you do it entirely through vocal commands. Like that game Lifeline for the PS2, but they claim that they have an artificial intelligence which will interpret your orders endlessly and pull off special and unique strats that you've developed through language. And I'm like, well, that's not true. There's, you know, like that's simply, they don't have, the artificial intelligence won't have it can't deliver on this premise without like a full online connection to someone spending tokens and shit. But maybe we're starting to move in that direction, but I don't know that's good either. Because I saw something earlier in the year where someone was like, this is not an engine. I told an artificial intelligence to make a shooting game. It does not have a UI. It doesn't have a HUD. Nothing is programmed. And it was so weird. It was like you were a character and then you'd run forward and then you'd fall through the ground and you'd come out of a pile of ears and guns would be flying out of your hand. And I was like, great. That's truly disturbingly psychedelic, but I don't think I want to play a game where the HUD shifts and the gameplay shifts and guns become, instead of shooting bullets, they shoot guns. It's just weird. It's very weird. AI is not ready. First off, it's not really the sort of general artificial intelligence that people keep thinking about. It's just strange. Just strange. But keep an eye on Next Fest because there are some good things on Steam Next Fest. But you know, it's Next Fest, so they're not really ready yet. They're just mostly ready. They're coming soon, you know? I thought County of Fortune looked interesting. I think Zero Space wants to be interesting. I think Zero Space is really interested in becoming the next StarCraft. Not StarCraft 2, StarCraft 1, and it's not going to be. I think it's desperate to move into StarCraft's esports niche and get money behind it, and it's not going to get it. I think it's going to fail epically, just like all the other ones that have tried to do that. They're certainly not the first. Oh yeah, here's that Chinese game. It's called Command by Voice World Conquest. What else is good on Steam Next Fest? I don't know. There was some stuff. There's a game Lawson will like. Hypatia. Sure, for sure. I don't think I've seen too much else here, though. There's a new Toho Bullet Hell game, I guess. Sure. That's a thing. And now I'm just seeing a lot of just AI stuff down here. All right, I'm done. I'm done looking over that. But it kind of feels like everybody's holding their breath for the next big gaming releases as well.
I think there's a bunch of them at the end of the year.
Well, no one wants to move in on
GTA 6.
Yeah, no one wants to get anywhere close to that. So Halo,
people dodging GTA 6 and now dodging GTA 6 Dodgers. People are changing dates twice now.
Black Flag Resynced or whatever. I'm not super interested in that because I never played the original Black Flag. Halo Combat Evolved is now Halo Campaign Evolved, which I'd probably be more interested in if I hadn't just rerun all of the first Halo game with Big Spoon like 2 months ago. But maybe when it's like deeply on sale and it's the future, I might be interested in giving it a look. But yeah, just like in general, a third Halo release of the first game? What's going on there? Do we really need it 4K again, I guess? Call of Duty Modern Warfare 4. I mean, like, okay. Oh, that Fable game as well. Yes, Fable. I don't know. I don't know about that one. I never played Fable 1 through 3. I got part of the way through Fable 1. and I just wasn't interested. I think that if I'd played it when Fable came out, I would have been a lot more impressed by it. But like I've seen trailers of the new Fable, and it's like, choose whether or not to kill this talking pig, and I'm like, okay, so this is Mass Effect 1. You've remade Mass Effect 1 20 years later and set it in the Fable universe. Like, okay. All right. I guess.
It does not seem like it seemed like, yeah, Fable has always been one that was just barely ahead of the game there, and it does not seem like it is.
Oh, I accidentally pinned something. Unpin message. It was just me clicking. Dave the Diver is headed to the jungle. Oh yeah, that's true. I did like Dave the Diver. Dave the Diver was a really fun game. I am working my way around doing another Crusader Kings 3 AGOT run, an RP run, because I was really having trouble with Victoria 3 making an interesting scripts to describe my gameplay that people would like, but people actually like my scripts for Crusader Kings 3 AGOT RP. Even though I'm not sure that they're that interested. I remember, was it last week where I was like, should I run them through AI? Lawson was immediately like, no. And I was like, great, I'm shooting that down then. If even Lawson is opposed to it, it must be a bad idea. But yeah, I'm thinking of doing a House Justman rule run. And I'm probably going to wait like 4 or 5 more days. So they tend to release a new patch for it every 2 weeks, and we're at like 10 days out. So in 4 days, they'll release a new patch, and it wipes your save file between every 2-week patch. So you really, if you want to do a series and you don't want to do it all at once, all in one day, you basically have to like give yourself space and time. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm give myself space and time. Lawson, what do you know about this VTuber Deme? Apparently they made big news today, getting slammed for like VTubing boning live on Twitch. Is this for real? It's often hard to decipher what is actually true on about Twitch, because sometimes you look stuff up and you're like, that can't possibly be real, and it's not, and people are exaggerating. And sometimes you're like, that can't possibly be real, and then you're like, holy shit, it's actually worse than how I thought.
With that particular subject,
Yeah.
it's a belief that she was doing that on stream, and like if you go to the stream itself, someone has timestamped like an hour's worth of evidence. Like there's like
an hour's worth of evidence. Jesus,
like 50 timestamps of things that make it obvious that it's happening.
Okay. All right. Well, that's kind of really fucking damning. I don't know. A bunch of lawsuits between Twitch streamers got dropped recently. I think one was like, the dude was like, if you just apologize, I'll drop the lawsuit. And he did apologize. And the second guy dropped the lawsuit. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. Like, imagine acting like fucking adults, I guess. Imagine saying sorry and then getting a multi-$1,000 lawsuit dropped. That's crazy, dude. Well, we got about 6.5 minutes left, guys. And I'll tell you what, if you haven't been checking out Dimension 20's City Council of Darkness, you are missing out, because it is some of the funniest shit I've ever seen in a tabletop actual play. Lou Wilson and Allie Beardsley just going absolutely fucking ham. This is a pair, like, players tend to pair off sometimes. I don't think we've ever seen this pair working together before, and they are actually disturbed when they work together. It's crazy. Absolutely crazy. And every day that passes, I'm closer to getting Pocopia pilled. I'm closer to getting a Switch 2 just to get Pocopia as well. It's happening. I'm being slowly worked on by the magic of Pokemons. It's this Nuzlocke run that's got me thinking about Pokemon all the time. That Final Fantasy 7 was announced, right? Yeah, that happened Friday, right? Maybe it was last Friday. 7R3 Revelations coming out. And then they replaced Sephiroth with Travis Willingham, which is going to be pretty interesting. Now, look, we've had some bad Sephiroths before. Let us all remember Sephiroth's first voice actor was Lance Bass of NSYNC in Kingdom Hearts. That's real. That's a thing that really happened. I know you might think it's a gas leak. Some of you might not even have been born when Kingdom Hearts 1 came out, but let me assure you, it was real. I was there. I survived it, and you can survive Travis Willingham as Sephiroth. It's just that when I hear Travis, I hear Colonel Mustang from Full Metal Alchemist, and I'm never going to hear Sephiroth. He just can't be the distant, intimidating specter of vengeance and control that is Sephiroth. He just can't pull off being half alien, half pathetic weeb. It's impossible. I think the guy who is currently doing Sephiroth, he said probably less than 50 words in each game, and everything he said, I was like, holy shit, this guy's so cold. This is a great Sephiroth. So I don't know why they replaced him, but I no shade to Travis. I think he's a great voice actor. I watch Critical Role. I love Campaign 4. I think he's doing great in it. I like a lot of his roles. I just don't think he can do a good Sephiroth. We'll see, because I'm going to get it. There's no stopping me. I'm getting Revelations. I'm there. I'm ready for the end. I want to know what's going on with the fucking rainbow dimension. I want to know what's going on with all the alternate dimensions. I want the timeline to snap back into place. Somebody needs to fix Cloud Strife. That guy is clearly suffering a severe mental breakdown. All right, which is classic. That is the point of Final Fantasy VII, is that Cloud, in his mind, has built up a psyche of who he is. And as he comes to reveal not only who he actually is, which is kind of a pathetic loser guy, but also that he is literally just a puppet for the guy he thought he was trying to defeat. And now that he's finally free, he's got to sort his life out, figure out who his best friends are, who his lovers are, and then get his shit back together and save the world. And that everything he's done up until now has really just been at the will of Sephiroth. That is the plot to the first two discs of Final Fantasy VII. Famously, disc 3 is where it all changes. Pokemon. What are you talking about? What you talking about? What you talking about, Taranaki? What you talking about? Are we talking about Sephiroth? Or are we talking about
Taranaki saying these things?
what? In chat, in Twitch chat. Where do you think he's saying these things?
I only see JLX.
Yeah, that's Taranaki. That's his Twitch account.
Yeah, you were talking about Pokemon Utopia.
Oh yeah, Pokopia. Poco a Pokemon. I don't know. I mean, I did 3 episodes of the Nuzlocke today, and I had a death of one of my Pokemon, and it was brutal. I was literally like, don't worry. This Pokemon may be at threat, but I will save its life with this one cool, neat trick. And then I did the neat trick, and the Pokemon fucking died immediately. And I started tearing my hair out, and I started swearing, and I was like, hold on. I'm going to have to edit this part out because I've marketed this. I've advertised this game as being for children. So hold on. Let me mute. Let me edit myself out from saying fuck repeatedly. I was so mad. I did the right thing. I did the right thing. I did the optimal smart play, and the AI punished me for it with the one thing that could counter me. It was so goddamn annoying. Oh, Taranaki apparently was making a musical term pun, poco a poco. Well, maybe if he used a little less sotto voce next time he does that, I might be able to understand what he's saying. All right. We've got 10 seconds left. What do you guys have to say for yourself?
I'm lost and I was here.
Wow, incredible. Thank you for that commentary. Is that Big Spoon?